Hi everyone, this is Jasenia from Printologia. I am making this video to tell you more about this new project that we are creating called Comunidad. Comunidad is a space that we are creating as a community segment to talk and discuss about topics that are tough but definitely relevant to our community. We want to reach the gap between misinformation, but at the same time speaking about experience. As you guys know, we have been with Printologia for over 3 years, and during this time we have been able to see and receive and hear different perspectives from people about the different services that we provide. So the goal with this new project is to each month tackle a theme regarding the different services that we provide, and then each week discuss a topic related to that theme. So for example, one of the services that I provide is wedding officiation. So this month in March, we're going to be discussing the theme of weddings, marriage, and relationships. And then each week, we're going to be talking about something related to that. So for this week, we start next Monday, the March 9th at 8 p.m. and we're going to be in YouTube. So we invite you to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of the videos that we post there. And we're going to tackle the question of what is your perspective or your opinion regarding marriage. And if you're not really sure what to say, we're always going to have like 3 questions that you can answer, and then we're going to leave you a space for you to suggest other topics or other themes that you want us to discuss, and then another space for you to share your opinion, an anecdote, or something like that. Everything that you share through that form, through that link, is going to be anonymous. It was created through Google Forms, so Google might ask for your email to give you access to the form, but we do not collect email addresses and we do not ask for your name, so it shouldn't show or ask you for anything related to that. And then when I get the responses, I only get the responses. That's the only thing I'm able to see, so I cannot see whose email did it come from or any of those things. So that's the way that we're doing it, so that you guys can also feel a bit more comfortable sharing what you are going through or what your thoughts are. So while we are tackling these topics, one of the things we also want to do is address some myths or some community misunderstandings about certain things. So for example, for this month, one of the things that we're going to be discussing is wedding officiation, right? And as I explained previously, I'm a wedding officiant, and that focuses on doing marriages or officiating marriages in Ohio and Kentucky. I have been considering to also do it in Indianapolis, but I haven't had the pleasure of doing one of those. So if you know someone, please send them my way and I'll get them married. But one of the things that people don't know, and that's one of the many myths we're going to tackle, is the fact that you are an ordained minister is not enough in some states to be able to officiate a wedding and make it be considered valid or legal under that state. So for example, in Ohio, being an ordained minister is not enough. You also have to submit your credentials to the state, and then they'll issue you a license allowing you or recognizing you as someone who can administer or officiate weddings, and then that would make your marriage a legal valid marriage, right? And so we all get this certificate. All of the people that are officiated, we get that certificate, and then you can also look us up in the Ohio Secretary of State. But in Kentucky, it's a different thing. You just have to be ordained. So that's something that you guys also need to be keeping in mind when you are doing that. But this and many other things we're gonna discuss in that new segment that we're starting, community segment called En Comunidad. Now, another reason why we started this is also from personal experience. I want to hear what other people say and their views are, but again, talking from my own personal experience. So I got together with my now husband when we were very, very young. I was 18 years old and he was 21, and it was really interesting to see how everything developed. I remember that although we both grew up Catholic and with those values, at the time that we decided to move in together, we did discuss the possibility of getting married. My husband wanted to get married through the church. I did not want to get married. Unfortunately, I had grown up or been raised with this negative view towards marriage. So one of the concerns I had, I first wanted to see if I was going to be able to get along with whoever it was that I was going to spend the rest of my life with, for lack of a better word. And then if things work out, then I was going to go ahead and get married through a civil wedding. And then, only then, if things work out, then we would go ahead and gotten married. Through the church, through the Catholic Church, right? I was very young. I was 18, and I had a very childish thinking back then, or thought. And one of them was that if I was to give that step and get married through the church, and for whatever reason, me and my husband did not work out, whenever we died and we would go to heaven, St. Peter was going to greet me and was going to be like, oh, no, you're here with the wrong husband, so you're going back. So I know it sounds very childish, but I mean, hold on, cut me some slack and give me some grace. I was only 18 years old. My brain was not fully developed, so what else were you expecting at this point? I'm not gonna lie, I still believe a little bit of that still, but I guess back then, that's just how I view marriage. And I remember that when I moved in with my husband, my mom was not very pleased that we were not getting married. But back then I was 18, under the rules and laws of Ohio. I was already an adult, so I could make my own decisions. Oh my God, I don't know why the state does that. I now look at my nieces and seeing how old they are and my siblings, and it's like, oh my God, why was I doing at 18? But anyways, that's what I did, and we moved in together, and then we had kids, and then 4 years into living together, that's when we decided to finally get married. And it wasn't your typical story. It wasn't your typical love story that Hollywood says, or that Disney sells, where there's Prince Charming and things like that. At the time, and as we dive more into this segment, I will tell you more, but at that time, we were at a place where we felt we needed that stability, but at the same time that compromise. And I think that we were going through a tough patch through a relationship, to be honest with you, that we felt that we needed that in my opinion, it was in a way to also provide some sort of legal stability. And what I mean by that is, I wanted my husband to have recognized rights under the law with our children, and I wanted my children to be able to benefit from the employment benefits that my husband was receiving, right? So we came also from that place where I needed to secure my assets, for lack of a better word, right? So I think that it was more of a mature decision that was made conscious towards, okay, we're starting this project together, which is a family, so let's structure and build up to it, and we'll dive more into it as we're at the segment. But anyways, that's the main reason why we decided to get married. And in fact, if God allows, this year in November 5th, we're actually going to have our 10th year anniversary. So although we've been together for 14 years, literally next year is going to be 15, like a whole quinceañera, we have only been married for 10 years. And as we were discussing the possibility of renewing our vows, or, what we were going to do next, that's when we started considering the possibility of, are we ready to take the next step and actually actually fully commit now to a religious blessing and do our wedding through the Catholic Church and have that marriage recognized, right? And it sounds like that's where we're leaning towards when we're renewing our vows. Sounds like that's what we're gonna do, but nothing's still for sure. We're gonna definitely keep you updated in this journey so that you make sure you send us your presents. Just kidding, but we're totally gonna keep you guys updated and discuss more into this. But while we were discussing this, actually, matter of fact, this weekend, my husband and I were thinking, like, if we could go back in time, right? If we could go back in time, what is something that we would tell our younger selves? What is something that we would tell young Jessie and young David, right? These little lovebirds. And one of the things that we both agree was that we would have definitely told them to not move in together until they were married, right? We still can pinpoint if we would advise them or tell them to get married through the church as well, or just, through civil routes. But definitely we would tell them to get married for sure. And that's just kind of where we landed with that. So that's also another reason why it came through that, as to if you could go back to your younger self, what would you tell them, right? So that's kind of where we want to start with this new segment. We're going to be discussing different topics each month related to the services we provide to Printologia. And then each week we're going to dissect a topic related to that theme, right? So again, this month in March, we're going to talk about weddings, matrimony, and relationships. So if you guys could join us, that would be great. Next Monday, we're going to publish our first video. And so when we post the themes, when we post the questions, we're going to post them on a Sunday, and you have until the next Saturday to submit your responses. We're going to be recording that weekend, and then on Monday, we're going to be publishing that new video where it would be uploaded at 8 p.m. We're going to do a video in English. We're going to do a video in Spanish so that people can understand both. Because we have a bilingual community. We love that. How great is that? So make sure that you go and follow us in our channel on YouTube and subscribe, and make sure that you participate. So anything that you submit through the link that we're going to be posting in Facebook in Spanish and Instagram in English is going to be completely anonymous. But if you send something or comment something on the post, I have no way of, unless you put an anonymous post, which I don't know if that's allowed, I have no way of keeping your anonymity. So make sure that, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. So make sure you keep that in mind, okay? So we are very excited for this new project that we're starting. We really feel that it is needed, because we have had also these conversations with, again, the clients that we meet with, and when I meet with a new couple to go over like their script and the ceremony that they want, I get also question about why do I do what I do, right? And what's my view about marriage, and if I'm married, and things like that. And I love addressing and answering those questions. But I have also ran into things where I have discussed these things with friends or family or relatives, and I'm just like, I think that there is there's a need for this community forum, right? And Printologia wants to make just that. So we are really excited for this new project. We do not see it taking away from what we already do. If anything, we just see it expanding it into more of a community togetherness, right? Which we can all agree that it's much needed now more than ever, right? So anyways, that's what we're starting with, En Comunidad, which is Spanish for in community. So I would really appreciate if you could please follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Instagram is primarily in English, and our Facebook is primarily in Spanish, and then YouTube is gonna put those things together, and we're gonna do both to be able to continue to serve to both of these beautiful communities that we are part of and we belong, right? So anyways, we have a date next Monday at 8 p.m. And go to our Instagram to check our questionnaire so you can submit your responses. And we look forward to seeing you. Please help us share the word with other people that you might think might be interested. And also let us know what do you think of this new project, okay? We'll keep you in touch. Bye-bye. Have a good day.